Hi, everybody. Good morning and welcome to 12 Ounce Sports and our initial NFL preview show of 2021. Yours truly, Captain Lou. You can watch me live on Tuesday nights on the Captain Lou Extravaganza from 8 until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a lot of lively guests and some good banter back and forth of all the sports, all the pertinent stuff that goes on in the world of sports. I'm joined today by the tag team champs, the AM Drive. That's Aaron Crouch and Mike Carvelis. Fellas, good morning. Welcome, and let's have some fun with this.
Hey, men, it's time for the NFL again, and I couldn't be happier. You know that. NFL is like Christmas morning to me.
Football in general, Mike, is, that is my Christmas as well, and started out last week with college football. We're going to stick with the NFL, though, Mike, and we had a big game Thursday night. We could talk about that real quick. Dallas and Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, his magic continues. He was able to engineer a game-winning field goal drive, if you will. And it was a great way to start off the 2021 NFL season.
I completely agree. It was as much debate as there was in between time. I just enjoyed how great of a game it was. I appreciate that it was back. And it's the best Thursday night football game I've seen in a long time.
You know, Aaron, that Mike brings up a great point. A lot of times there's a lot of hype into these games and it doesn't live up to it, but you had the crowd back, which was electric. You know, obviously every year they raise the Super Bowl banner, which they did in Tampa, and both teams look sharp. And I got to say something right here. If Dallas can maintain that level of play as they did Thursday night against Tampa, I think that they are easily going to win that NFC East because Dak Prescott, to me, plays like that. He's the class of that division as far as quarterback play.
Yeah, we talked about it on the AM Drive, I believe, Mike, on Thursday or Friday. I think it was Thursday that I picked Dallas to win that NFC East, or the least, as we like to call it. They stay healthy. I don't think there's another team on their level in the East at this point, and I think they proved that on Thursday. And I think they just need to stay healthy. That's the big thing. And you know what? I will tell you this. I hope at 44 years old, I'm must-see TV like Tom Brady still is.
I used to be when I was 44, but that seems like an age ago, man. That was 12 years ago. You know, and Mike, I think that the one thing I took out of that, and I don't know if this is just an anomaly with Dallas, is Zeke Elliott was not a major factor in that game at all. I don't know if he was a decoy, but I think that I think you could see more of that because I just like the weapons that Prescott has to throw to.
I was very shocked about that after watching Hard Knocks like I did, and even reviewing it on the AM Drive. I figured Zeke would be more featured, even in the passing game, but I was shocked they ran him 11 times and he got like a 12-yard carry. That's it. So I was kind of shocked about that.
Well, guys, what we're going to do with this show each week is we're going to take a look at every game, and we're going to make our predictions and think what may happen. Obviously, when you get the opening week or two, there's a little more doubt, if you will. There's a lot more of an unknown with most of these games. And we'll also, at the end of the show, we'll give our lock of the week. One game that we think that is just an absolute bet the mortgage, you'll bet your car payment, whatever you want to do on that particular game. And guys, let's get right into the games, shall we? The first one, I'm going to get this one out of the way, and I'm going to go with Detroit versus San Francisco. My latest line on this one this morning was San Francisco an 8.5-point favorite. Now I see it's already up to 9 with an over-under of 46. Dan Campbell, he's going to see if he can bite kneecaps. San Francisco's got a lot of people back that weren't available last year that were hurt. Kittle, Jimmy G, you name it, Bosa. There's a lot of unknowns with Detroit and Jared Goff. Fellas, you know me, I love the Lions. I think they're going to cover the 9 points. I think it's going to be a closer game than that, but I'm going to go with San Francisco. I just think that Goff has got something to prove. I'm going to go with the San Francisco winning 28-24. It's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I look at it here, and you have the Dan Campbell era and a new beacon of hope for the Detroit Lion and Detroit Lion fan base here. But at the same time, you look at Jared Goff, you look what he's done. Yes, I understand the whole he went to a Super Bowl thing. That's great. That's phenomenal. That was with a phenomenal defense, a decent running game with the Rams here. I just don't know what to make of Detroit this year because you're right. They do have some decent pieces on the offensive side of the ball. You can tell me more about this defense because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. It looks like they kind of pick and choose, Lou, when they want to show up at that point. But the 49ers are a very, very good sleeper team this year because they drew the last place schedule in the NFC West. So if anybody has the upper hand here in the NFC West, it's the 49ers. But again, you're right. Health is an issue. I don't necessarily know if I love a side in this game. So I actually leaned on the over, made this pick in the AM Drive 5 on Friday. I'm leaning on the over. I think we're looking at something along the lines of you're around what you said, 28-25, 31-28, something in that realm. And it wouldn't shock me if Detroit was able to keep this close.
I've got over 46 and Detroit +9.
Yeah, one of the things too is Taylor Decker is their starting tackle had surgery on his hand, I think maybe his thumb, so he's out, and that's gonna be another obstacle for the line. That to me going into the season was one of their strengths. With you guys on that one, I like the over on that as well. Next game on the docket, Mike, we'll start out with you. A team in your neck of the woods, the Falcons hosting the Eagles. Two rookie head coaches going at it. Sirianni for the Eagles, Arthur Smith for the Falcons. Falcons, I've got -3, and the over/under on that one is 48.5. I'd go with the over on that one to begin with. I'm not a big fan of either defense. I think there's a lot of holes. I think, Aaron, you might be able to you can vouch for me on this. Usually they give the home team a 3-point spread just because they're home. This is almost like a pick, but I just think the Falcons have more weapons. I'm going with the Falcons and the over.
Yeah, I think the situation here with Vegas and the rest of the betting markets here is they don't really know what to make of these two teams. We haven't seen a ton of style from these guys. Nick Sirianni has basically come out of nowhere. The Doug Peterson firing still, in my opinion, is a shock to me. I mean, I'm sure it's a shock to Doug as well when he tanked week 17 against Washington to let them make the playoffs. But, we know what we get out of Matt Ryan. He's got a new unicorn in Kyle Pitts here. Julio Jones is gone. I'm interested to see who's the other person who can take the pressure, if there is any. The Roddy White type is who I like to describe him as. What do we have on the other side of Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts? Now, in the situation with Kyle Pitts, what do we expect? Rookie tight ends do not pan out fantasy-wise during their rookie year. It's just fact. So how do we find a way to debunk that myth with Kyle Pitts? Because this guy's a freak of nature. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this guy explodes this year. And a low-key dark horse, for Rookie of the Year, Kyle Pitts. But that all being said, I do like Philadelphia's defense to play hard here, keep everything under wraps, keep everything in between the hash marks. I'm actually leaning on the under, 48.5. I think we get something like 23-20 in this game because I actually don't think, despite all the talent on both sides of the ball, the offenses are really going to be dynamic. Now, I could be wrong. These teams could put up 100 points, and I look like an idiot. But I'm going to go ahead and lean on the under in this spot, 48.5.
Mike, what do you think on this one? What do you think? Can Matt Ryan overcome his defensive deficiencies for their side of the ball to pull this one out?
I don't think I have much time to talk on this one anymore, but I'm just going to go with the Falcons -3 and over 48.5 because I thought I was supposed to go first on that one.
We'll get you first on the next one, Mike. I'll tell you
That's
what.
fine.
Next up on the docket, let's go to the NFC or the AFC East rather, and a couple of teams, Miami and the Patriots. Miami comes in a 3-point dog, if I'm not mistaken, on this one. And the total's at 43.5. Number one is too much being made of Tua not being a captain. He's going to be without his left tackle too tomorrow. It sounds like Austin Jackson's on COVID protocol. Left tackles mean a lot. And if he's not going to be there, that's going to give the Patriots a little more ammo. Patriots starting Mac Jones. I've become a Mac Jones fan only because of the national media, the way they dogged him during the draft, saying he's worthless and that he didn't deserve to be a first-round pick, especially in the top 3. I want him to prove everybody wrong in that regard. I'm taking the Patriots at home, -3. Mike, give me your thoughts on this. What's your gut feeling on this game?
All week I've said under 43.5 or wherever that line's been at. I think Patriots defense will be locked down again this year. And I think that Mac Jones is still worthless. He's still terrible, but it doesn't matter because he's in the Patriots offensive scheme. They win by more than 3 points as well. And the left tackle being gone makes me feel even better about that.
Mike, I'm going to have to get on your Friday show and debate you on him being terrible. I just love how these quarterbacks that all they do is win. I know system quarterbacks in Alabama, but I don't know. Aaron, Miami, they got a lot of they had a nice finish to their season last year. They don't have Ryan Fitzpatrick to fall back on. What do you think, though, with Tua? What do you think of his chances to, be successful in Miami?
All right, well, first of all, Mike, strike one. I'm going to let you slide on the Mac Jones BS talk here. Strike one, though. As far as Tua goes, that's the situation that I'm most concerned about, and you nailed it right on the head, is there is no safety net. Ryan Fitzpatrick is gone. And I know we talked about this on one of the shows, AM Drive. Like, we actually looked up who the backup quarterback was. So, Jacoby Brissett. So I don't know what we're looking at here in terms of Brian Flores' escape hatch plan. So I got to look at it this way. Like, Tua, it's your ship, your range, you're the captain, even if you're not the actual captain. Wearing the C on the jersey here. I think Tua just needs to break it down to the studs. Short passes, gain confidence, let your playmakers. You have Waddle, Parker, Myles Gaskin. You've got Mike Gesicki. Do what the Patriots do. Get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. And Brian Flores should know that almost better than anybody. So in my spot here, I'm actually I'm not as high, despite the fact that I'm wearing Pat on my head here. I'm not as high right now on Mac Jones. I'm ready for him to not ready for him to take the next step because I don't know if he's quite ready in that aspect. So I'm actually going to take the Dolphins here +3 and maybe sprinkle a little bit on that money line.
Ooh.
Well, that's the beauty again of week 1. We just never know. I mean, there's so many different things. It reminds me of when the Lions played the Falcons in Matty Ice's first game. I think he threw for 425 yards in that game back in 2008. And that was, I think, the year Detroit went 0-for. But going into that year, it was funny as Detroit was 7-9 previous year, and it looked like they had some momentum going after a strong finish, and Matty Ice torched them. And he was an unknown in the NFL. So you just never know. So that's the beauty of week number 1. We're here live on 12 Ounce Sports with our NFL preview show we're going to have every Saturday morning. Yours truly, Captain Lou, along with Mike Carvelis and Aaron Crouch from the AM Drive, which you can watch 5 days a week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. They've got great banner back and forth, great information from the previous night's sports, and they preview what's going on in the world of sports, everything from golf to NASCAR to baseball to hockey, you name it. And with the Ryder Cup coming up, I know they're going to really dive into that coming up here in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a fun weekend. Make sure you check them out Monday through Friday. All of our lines, by the way, are provided by betus.com. Our next game that I've got on the docket is an AFC North battle. Well, a crossover battle between the AFC North and the AFC East, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. The line is 6.5, Buffalo favored. That kind of scares me a little bit on that line. Here's one of two teams that I'm interested to see how they handle prosperity. Buffalo has been a doormat for years and years and years. The last year and a half, they've done well. They really did well last year. Aaron, they go from being the hunters to the hunted now. A lot of people are projecting them to possibly unseat Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl. Can they live up to the expectations? There's going to be a lot of pressure on them. What I like about Pittsburgh, another Alabama product coming in, Najee Harris. But they got Big Ben. He's supposedly in the best shape of his life. We'll see how that goes in the first game. Bills 6.5. That's a lot of points. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to cover. I think Buffalo wins, but I think Pittsburgh's going to cover the spread.
Yeah, I stared at this one a lot, actually, this week because I felt like I needed to have a play on this game specifically, and I just can't figure out which way to go. I do have a lean, but I will say this. The thing that worries me the most is a 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger. We already have our concerns about him coming off of a pretty good season. The year before had a very, very bad arm injury. But not only that, you just said it with Najee Harris, an Alabama running back. Not only that, he's got two brand new offensive line mates in Dan Moore and Kendrick Green, and one of them's his left tackle. Now, we know Ben's not that mobile, obviously, anymore. And then, obviously, he's got a second-round pick in Pat Freiermuth, who looks like he's taking over the TE1 job over Eric Ebron, who's not a bad option. But if you can have the two tight end set, why not take that? So basically, having new guys as a 39-year-old man really disrupts your rhythm. So I'm not sure how we're going to look at that in the first week. Now, going down the line, I think we're going to be okay in Pittsburgh here because that defense is just phenomenal. But I had to find a lean here. I'm going to take Buffalo with the 6.5. I'm going to give it to the Steelers, and I think Buffalo wins by exactly a touchdown, 27-20.
Mike, you get to be the deciding factor on this one. Josh Allen, is he ready to become the next elite quarterback for Buffalo? And give me your feel for this Week 1 matchup in Western New York.
That's up to Stephon Diggs. Is he going to throw a temper tantrum if Josh Allen starts getting all the hype here like he did in Minnesota? I've got Steelers plus 6.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills blow away with them, but I feel like it's going to be a close game. I feel like Steelers are going to show up, and I feel like Big Ben's going to look good, especially with Najee Harris as a security blanket.
Well, the next game I want to talk about is an interconference matchup, and not a lot of love on this game. I don't have a real good feel about this one. It's the Vikings and the Bengals. I got the Vikings a 3-point favorite on the road. That's against the Bengals. You got Joe Burrow coming up. You've got Jamar Chase, who can't catch the football because there's no stripes on it. I've got this Viking team with there was a lot of off the field, off-season turmoil there with the vaccination hubbub, and it sounds like it's a powder keg there just waiting to blow. Yeah, I don't know how to pick this one. I threw a dart on this one. I'm going with the Vikings just because they've got more talent. Mike, give me your feel on this game if you can. 3-point favorite, over under 47. I don't even know how to go with that over under, but I'm taking the Vikings just because they got more talent.
I got Vikings -3. Glenn actually has the Bengals as his upset of the week in this game, which I thought, because he always does an upset of the week. I do want to mention that, like I said, Vikings -3. I like Dalvin Cook. I like Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. I think Kirk Cousins may air it out a little bit more this year. But I also want to mention that per Hefe, 12onsportsradio.com/betus, that's 120sportsradio.com/BETUS to make sure that you help support the network and not just go to betus.com, but use this promotional link.
Aaron, we've got Joe Burrow coming back after just a crushing injury. Boy, I tell you, I give him credit. I didn't think he was going to make it back for Week 1 after that injury he suffered, last year. I don't understand why they didn't go for offensive line help in the draft right away, but that's the Bengals. They're kind of like the Lions. They make you scratch your head. Do you have any feel for this one?
I do have this as an actual pick. I have bet. A couple of reasons why I'm looking into this spot. I look at the Minnesota defense, which we've historically said has been good. They finished 29th in the league last year in points per game and last in the league in total defense, which is not a Mike Zimmer stat that I'm sure he loves. I don't really see anything that they did to improve. And also, Anthony Barr may or may not play in this one, their arguable best linebacker here in this spot. So taking that, I look at Joe Burrow. Guy played his rookie year, was riding on cloud nine, tears his ACL. He's back. He's got the guy he wanted. I think he's amped up as heck for this game. I think he's going to be ready to play. He's going to be nervous. So the first quarter, there may be some butterflies. But I look at that. Let's take Jamar Chase out of that because it does look really bad that they let Penei Sewell just keep falling when he was standing right there ready to be drafted by them to protect that knee of Joe Burrow. So I hate to do this, but I think I have to agree with Glenn here. I got to go with the upset. I'm taking Cincinnati plus the 3 points, but I think they beat them outright. I think they beat them.
Ooh.
I think they beat them outright on a late touchdown drive, and Kirk Cousins gets smattered in the media because every week that he doesn't do the right thing, they're going to take every opportunity to bash his vaccination status.
Interesting.
A couple of our comments. We've got a Brady fan out there saying he's going to get his 8th ring of the year.
Oh,
I don't know about all that.
He's somebody I was arguing with on Twitter.
We'll talk about that towards the end of the show if we got time. We get through the picks here. So
no need. He's right.
He was also trying to troll me, so don't.
Well, all right, then we'll keep rolling right along. Then next game is another 3-point spread. We're going to go with the Titans against the Cardinals. If there was ever an over bet on a game, I think I might go with this one. I've got two defenses in Tennessee and Arizona that to me are bottom of the barrel. 53.5 is the over under. Now that's a little big, but you've got DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green now. Let's see how much he's got left in the tank. Julio Jones going to Tennessee this year. Ryan Tannehill, I tell you, he's another one that surprises me every year. I didn't think he was going to do as good as he did, but they took the reins off of him in Tennessee. Titans are a 3-point favorite at home. I'm rolling with the Titans in this all the way. I am not a believer in Kyler Murray or in Cliff Kingsbury. Give me the Titans all day long in this one. Aaron?
I was hoping you'd go to Mike first on this one because here's another one. Like, I really want to love the Titans, but their defense is putrid.
Oh, it's terrible.
They didn't do anything to improve it. What did they do to improve it? They got Julio Jones. So,
right.
28th in passing, 28th in total yards allowed, 24th in points per game. They were worse in the NFL in opponents converting on third down, and they didn't do anything to improve it, in my opinion. So I don't hate your Titans pick. I really don't. The -3. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over this 54. I think we get a shootout. And I am definitely, it sounds like, way much higher on the Kyler Murray fan club scale than you are. I think, because I actually have to eat my words here, and I am more than happy to do it when that time comes. I think Kyler Murray is an incredibly gifted quarterback, and I didn't think he would have any chance to succeed in the NFL. He's in the wrong division, unfortunately. But if I had to make a play on the side, I'd take the 3 points. I'm always in favor of taking the points here, but I'm going to say we get a shootout. I'm going to say both teams end up in the 30s here with the total.
Mike, here you go. The stage is set for you, big fella. What do you think on this game?
I love Kyler Murray like Aaron does. I also think Aaron makes a good point about the Titans defense because how many Patriots alma mater coaches have we seen have this defensive mindset and then end up kind of not ever improving their defense? I mean, Julio Jones is a nice piece. I think that the play here is the over, but if I had to take a guess, I go Titans because they're supposed to be the better team, but Cardinals would scare me.
But based on what, though, Mike? How are the Titans the better team? Because they have more flashier names? I mean, I think arguably you can make DeAndre Hopkins' case for the best wide receiver in the league.
Oh, I think
James Conner, if he stays healthy, is definitely a bell cow with Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is one of my favorite unknown backs in the league, especially for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
It's all on Kyler. And how much are you going to lean on Derrick Henry this year now that you have those two big wide receivers?
I agree with you, Aaron, but look at what Arizona did last year. If it wasn't for a Hail Mary win against Buffalo, they didn't beat anybody of consequence, in my opinion. And I think Kyler, the league has figured him out, and I think they've kind of figured out Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat as far as a head coach, but to your point, they're in the wrong division this year because, I think the NFC West is one of the, if not the best division in football. It's darn near close. But I don't know. I'm not sold like you fellas are with Kyler Murray, but that's the beauty of this. We can't agree on everything, Speaking of agreeing on something, let's go to the next game, and that is the game where Mike has got a special interest in. Seattle is a 3-point favorite on the road in the Dome against the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz, the superstar, he is, or Superman, coming back from that injury, which a lot of folks thought he would be out until probably week 5. He's in. He's going to be playing. Seattle's a 3-point favorite at home, which means to me that's a toss-up. Over-under is 49.5. The one player that I've got a special interest in this one, I've got 2 of them that Kari Willis is a local guy from where I live. Watched him play at Michigan State. Went to Jackson Lumen Christi High School. I watched him. Kwity Paye is going to get the start at defensive end for the Colts. And, we all know their offensive line is great. Seattle's one of those teams, in my opinion, that, they always seem to win 11 games. This is a toss-up. Mike, I'm going to do this to you. I'm taking Seattle, laying the 3.
So I have to change my Andrew Luck jersey to a Carson Wentz jersey right here. I think the 2 looks pretty impressive right now. But I've got all week long I've been saying Seattle, and I know the Colts having injuries. Maybe I'm putting too much faith, blind faith, really. I just feel like the Colts with Jonathan Taylor is going to help out this team a lot. I feel like the running game is just going to be really good. We just re-signed Nyheim Hines to a nice deal. I got Colts +3, and I have under 49.5.
Aaron, what I think is not given enough credit, though, in my opinion, is the defense of Seattle. I think they've improved it, and I like the weapons they have with Lockett and with DJ Metcalf. That's why it's hard for me to bet against a Seattle team which historically plays good in the eastern part of the country, and I like them playing indoors against this Indianapolis team. I think it's going to be a great game, but that's why I'm sticking with the Seahawks.
Yeah, on every show I've ever done on 12 Ounce Sports, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Russell Wilson is my dream quarterback. A guy who takes care of the ball, knows when to get down, can throw the deep ball, can put touch on it, and he's just an all-around good guy. That being said, I think the only way the Colts can be in this game is if they contain those 2 guys, Lockett and Metcalf. You're right. Those explosive plays on the outside, if those happen, Seattle should be able to run away with this. I'm going to go out on a limb. At one point last year, the first 10 weeks of the season, the Colts were the #1 defense in the NFL. Yes. Consistency is key. If they can get back to that, I think the Colts are in this game. Now, all that being said, it's on Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and make my last final pitch for Carson Wentz being a backer of his. And I'm going to say, as much as I love Russell Wilson, Colts win this game Sunday.
All right. I got you down. I put you down, and originally as a Seahawk, you fooled me. You pulled an end around on me that time, Aaron. Good for you. Well, Carson Wentz, in my opinion, he falls in the same category as Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford.
Oh, okay.
And
that's fair.
Sean McVay. No more excuses. You get what you want. It's put up or shut up. And
I like that.
And I've been saying that all year, and that's why I'm kind of interested to see what Carson. I hope he does good. Don't get me wrong. I don't vote for anybody to do lousy. Well, maybe Aaron Rodgers,
right. But well, Lou, before we switch gears to the next game, I am in that camp as far as put up or shut up, but I'm not ready to do that in week 1 for Carson Wentz.
No, okay, fair enough. No, it's for the season. I like that.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Very good point. Let's roll along here. Next game up, Aaron. Chargers in Washington. This is literally, you can call it a pick'em game. -1 to me is a pick'em game.
Yep.
It was a pick'em earlier in the week.
Ryan Fitzpatrick starting for his 9th team. The guy is a vagabond. He's 9 lives. Call it whatever you want. I love the defense on this team. The only reason I'm not picking them to win that division is because of Ryan Fitzpatrick. He does good for a while, but then he kind of, to the bed in some games. The Chargers, Justin Herbert, they've got the weapons. They've got a new coach this year. Staley's their head coach, I believe. God, if this was out in Los Angeles, I'd pick the Chargers all day long. I've got a tough one with this one, Aaron. I'm going with Washington only because they're the home team.
Yeah, I stayed absolutely away from this. I don't have a side. I don't have a total. I have no idea what's going to go on in this game. Couple of things in my mind. West Coast team going east, playing a 1 o'clock game never bodes well. But what? It's week 1. They should be ready for that. Austin Eckler being a hamstring injury. I believe he got that in Wednesday in practice. He's very, very questionable to doubtful if he's going to go. Really, really tough beat for Justin Herbert. I don't know. It's really hard to find the right play here. If you're twisting my arm, I'm going to say Washington wins this game, despite the fact I think they're going to have a very disappointing.
Yeah,
me too.
I think it's going to be a letdown. I agree. Mike, what's your gut on the Chargers? Do you think they can pull it off on the road?
I think they're going to win, but this game also scares me. I've been up and down on it all week, but I've mostly gone with the Chargers. I think they should win by about 3 points in a classic Chargers victory.
You're watching the 12-Ounce Sports NFL preview show live here this morning. We're going to do this every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Check us out, 12ouncesportsradio.com/BetUS, the sponsor of the program here today. All the lines and the over-unders are courtesy of BetUS. Mike Carvallis, Aaron Crouch from the AM Drive joining us. Yours truly, Captain Lou, here with you. You can see their show every day during the week at 10 a.m. Eastern time. My show, the Captain Lou Extravaganza, Tuesday nights from 8 until 10 p.m. Eastern time, live here on 12-Ounce Sports. Let's roll along here as we're in the second half hour of our show. The Jets and the Panthers. Panthers are a 4-point favorite at home. You know what? It's funny. At the beginning of the year, I was not a big fan of the Panthers, but I got to tell you, their schedule is very favorable, and I like Matt Rule. I think that the Panthers could be a playoff team. They were my playoff team pick. I like how the schedule bodes for them, and other than Tampa Bay, I think they're the second best team in that division. They got a Jets team that's coming into town.
Wow, we're just glossing over that hot take, huh?
Well, I'll let you. Okay, I'll give you my Panthers. I'll tell you what, the Panthers cover. Go ahead.
Oh, I just meant the second best team in that division. I mean, it's easy to. You're right. You can make a case for all 3 of those teams. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Lou.
No, you're good.
That one just flew into my ear, and I'm like, whoa, second best team. That's a bold statement. It all goes like you said with Sam Darnold. This is a revenge game, I would imagine. For Sam Darnold against the Jets. And not only that, he's facing his replacement in Zach Wilson, who I'm sure Sam Darnold's in that room throwing bounties out to the Carolina Panther defense.
They can't do that.
Well, it's only a crime if you get caught, right? Isn't that how that works?
That's Bobby the Brain Heenan. That's what he used to say.
Yeah, the Robert Saleh era is beginning in New York. It's all new, just like we talked about with Detroit. It's all new hope, butterflies and rainbows. My official stance on this play is actually going to be the over. Both defenses are atrocious. Oscar the Grouch lives in their defenses because they are both trash at that point. I think Sam Darnold is a stud, and we're going to be talking about him all week this week. I think he's going to throw. I'm going to take over 3 touchdowns. I think he throws for 4 or 5 touchdowns, 2 of them to McCaffrey. McCaffrey gets back on the board. I'm going to take the over 45 in this game.
Mike, I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan. I think he's one of the more overrated quarterbacks to come out of college in the last 10 years. He didn't do anything, in my opinion, in big games in USC his senior year. He's had mono and a bad coach. All right, I'll give him a break for that. That's why I put him at the top of the list of one of those where there's no more excuses. But that being said, I like his weapons, and I think they will carry him. And that schedule will carry him to a playoff berth in that division. So that's what I'm
love it.
The Jets are a dumpster fire, almost as bad as Detroit. That's why I'm picking Carolina in this one.
I have Carolina -4. I say it's under 45, but I got Carolina -4, and I want to be very. Beck says Lou is correct. I want to be very clear of what Lou said. That is very. It has to be said. When you do your predictions, Lou, you're like me. You go through the schedule. It is so easy to say why the Panthers will do good or not do good, while the Jets will be trash. If you go through the schedule game by game on one of these websites, it's actually pretty baffling how your record changes. I did not have the Panthers as a playoff team. I had them as a good team. I didn't even have them as a playoff team until I did that. So I could see your point with the Panthers making the playoffs based on the schedule, but I still think they win this game by more than 4 points.
You're also expecting no injuries to happen to your team or the other teams. So again, you can play. We play the game all the time, Mike. You know, it's totally fine to go through the schedule. And again, I don't disagree with that. I think the Carolina Panthers. I think an NFC South team can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Coming out and declaring the Carolina Panthers the second best team in the NFC South was just very bold to me.
Well, that's fine, and it's hard for me to
love it.
It's hard for me to do with Sam Darnold as their quarterback because I have no faith, and I will stand corrected. I always do when I make a mistake. I'm only going to give you guys 15 to 20 seconds on this next game because this is Toilet Bowl game number 1, Jaguars and Texans. It's bad when the Jaguars are a 3-point favorite opening week on the road. I just threw a dart at this one. I'm going with Jacksonville just because I don't know what the hell's going on with the Texans. So Jaguars.
All right, I'll go ahead and take this one because I'm going to say that the line is actually in favor of Jacksonville for 2 reasons. One, we have no Deshaun Watson, and we're just ready to write off. I mean, Mike said it earlier this week, Texans 0-17. I don't believe that for 1 second. The second one is Trevor Lawrence's game against the Dallas Cowboys in the preseason. They are just all over the ball washing train here with Trevor Lawrence. I love Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. That being said, I know you said 20 seconds, so I'll wrap this up here. Houston Texans 1-0 money line. Give it to me.
That was part of his 5, I believe.
That was part of my AM Drive 5 last week.
But I got Jaguars to win by more than 3. But yeah,
it's crazy that, again, like I said, Jacksonville comes into a game after the season they had last year, opening game, a favorite on the road. Next 2 games are going to be fun. This one, Browns and the Chiefs. This is going to be one that I've penciled in. Another one that I said, let's see how the Browns can handle prosperity. Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. They got the weapons, man. Their defense got stronger this year, I believe. They're going into a Chiefs den that the Chiefs are pissed. They lost that Super Bowl, and I believe that they're a 5.5 it's up to 6-point favorite. I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I like the Browns. I think they're going to do good this year, but they're going into a hornet's nest this opening game. I look for the Chiefs, and I'm even taking the over on this one.
I got over 54.5 as well. I think Browns keep it close, but I do have the over. I think that's the play here.
Yeah, I went ahead and played this. I actually am against you guys. I'm on the under. That being said, the reason is, and I'm sure the boss is going to love this, is I don't think Cleveland's going to get over 20 points. I think they get 17 points in this game, and they get doubled up. Patrick Mahomes is ready for revenge here in the 2021 season. Yeah. Now, a lot of this depends on if Tyrann Mathieu plays, and I know Frank Clark's got a little bit of a hamstring issue. If those two are on the field, I'm saying 34-17 Chiefs, and I don't know if we're doing this later, but I'm going to give you a preemptive lock of the week.
Hey, we'll come back to that. We'll make.
I have another one just in case, but that's
great. That's great. Next game, we're going to go to Jacksonville for the next one, and we got the Packers and the Saints playing in a neutral site because of the hurricane. Packers are a 3.5-point favorite. How in the holy hell they're only a 3.5-point favorite over this Saints team? I have no idea. And that's coming from a guy who, dislikes Green Bay more than anything. I've been brainwashed to be dislike the Packers, but that being said, I don't trust the Saints. I don't know what's going on there. They don't have Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. Okay, they're great, but I don't trust their defense. I like the Packers in this one, easily winning this game. I'm laying the 3.5. Mike, what do you think?
Me too. Jameis Winston will have some good weeks, but he will have mostly bad ones. And Aaron Rodgers lit up the Saints last year.
Aaron, I love the weapons on Green Bay. I mean, again, Aaron Rodgers, he's the master manipulator. He's the master of playing with a chip on his shoulder. he's, this is probably going to be their quote unquote last dance, supposedly with him and Devontae Adams. He's got Aaron, he's got, whatever Aaron's last name is, the running back, Aaron Jones. And I just love their weapons. I'm a little hesitant about their defense. That's why I may lean towards the over on this one, but give me your feeling. Do you have any way that the Saints can win this game?
Yes, Aaron Rodgers gets put in COVID protocol tomorrow morning. I don't think it's as cut and dry as we look here. The line is actually really skeptical to me. I mean, if we believe the field goal theory, we're basically saying that on a neutral site field, Green Bay is a 3.5-point favorite. So if we move this game to New Orleans, it's basically a pick 'em. I don't know if I buy that. This feels like a trap line by Vegas. I think Green Bay wins this game. I don't have an official play on this at all. I don't know about the total because I think New Orleans defense is incredible. I don't know if anybody's talking about New Orleans defense. It's all the focus is on Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill, and Jameis Winston. I'm a bigger Jameis Winston stan than most people, obviously. Mike can attest to it. But this line is just shady as hell to me. So stay away from it if you can. If you have to make a pick, gun to my head, I'm actually going to take the under.
Oh,
interesting.
I'm with Lou over.
Aaron's hot take. I like it.
I think it's close, though. I think it's 26-20, something along those lines.
Hey, just a reminder, everybody, that our lines are courtesy of BetUS. Check them out at 12ouncesportsnetwork.com/BetUS or 12ouncesportsradio.com/BetUS to get all the latest lines. Check out their website. They've got some great games, great lines to bet on, very safe, and really looking forward to working with them here in the near future. I've used them in the past, and I've cashed out some dollars from them, and I've put some in as well, but I've cashed out, and it's very safe. So
let me check them out. Little anecdote here about BetUS. I discovered them when I was about 22, 23 years old, and I was actually a pretty good sports bettor at the time. However, my vice, the BetUS casino. Stay away, kids. Stay away from the casino.
And I got to stay away from Pie Gal. I mean, that's one of the easiest table games as far as this. They say it's the safest one. Where I know we're digressing because we got to get back to football. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Aaron. Got to stay away. We got 3 games left to pick. Let's get right now to the Giants and the Broncos. This is Von Miller's first game since 2019. Can you believe that? He was out, with COVID and whatnot, with injuries. I'm not a Daniel Jones guy. I think his time has run out. He's got a very shaky offensive line. I think this could be a recipe for disaster for the Giants. I think Denver's defense could tee off on him. I really love the Denver's defense. Obviously their quarterback situation isn't the greatest with Teddy Ballgame. But that being said, I'm taking the Broncos going out east, Aaron, and I'm going to take them laying the 3. The total is a little low. I'm staying away from the total, Aaron.
It got way low. It was like 43 or 44, and I'd gone with the under, and 41.5 is pretty low now.
What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, Daniel Jones, this is like we talk about this with a couple quarterbacks already in the show. It's put up or shut up this year, I think, if things don't go well. But I'm looking at a situation here where we have Kadarius Toney, we have Kenny Galladay, we have Sterling Shepard, we have a potential for Saquon Barkley to be there week 1, and the defense is much improved with Adoree Jackson coming in and other guys like that. I'm not a Teddy Bridgewater guy. I mean, over Drew Lock, sure, absolutely, but I'm just not ready. I'm not ready for this Denver Broncos team to be good. I know a lot of people are high on them. I think Giants money line is my play here for week 1.
I agree with that.
Home dog getting 3. I mean, I'll take it.
I got 41.5, but I do think Teddy Bear is a good quarterback. He was supposed to be a Viking Super Bowl favorite one year until he got hurt in preseason. Everybody cried about it, which is terrible. He's always been disrespected, played decently with the Saints. I think he's the right fit with the Broncos. That being said, Giants with the points here.
Yeah, no disrespect to Teddy Bridgewater. I like the man, and you're right. He's gotten a bad rap, or not a bad rap, but he's drawn a bad hand here. everywhere he's kind of went. So, I mean, I'm not rooting against him. I'm just week one here. We're going to take the home dog.
Well, I'm not sold on Kenny Golladay. I think the Giants way overpaid for him.
Wow.
I'm not saying that because he left Detroit, but he never played a full season. You talk about Stephon Diggs being a diva. Wait till Kenny Golladay doesn't get his way in New York and starts pouting and whining. And that's what he did in Detroit when the things got tough. Way overpaid for him. I think that I'm just not sold on the Giants whatsoever. I think Joe Judge, to me, is another one who came in way overrated as a head coach. And, everybody called him great. I didn't know great coaches were 6-game winners. That's all I'm saying on that. Next game,
you got to say this as we wrap up that part here. You got to say this. They didn't pay Kenny Golladay $15 million to look the other way, so he'll be okay.
Yeah, he's got big ears. He hears a lot of footsteps. Let's just say that.
Fair enough.
Next game, Sunday night game. Bears and the Rams. This one's got a little bit of significance for me. Rams are up to a 9-point favorite. Wow. I mean, I had them at 7.5 this morning. The lines that I know maybe it went up a little bit, over under 46.5. Matt Stafford. Now he's anointed. He's went from this middling quarterback to all of a sudden he's one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league. I've full disclosure, I've got him on a big money fantasy team, so I got to kind of root for him. Love the guy for what he did in Detroit. Wow, 9 points is a lot, man. It's an awful lot. The Bears, if I got to put a gun to my head and bet this one, Mike, I'm taking the Rams, laying the 9, because I just don't trust the Bears offense whatsoever.
I'm with you. Bears with the 9. Rams with the 9. I love Sean McVay. I believe under 46.5. I don't think Bears sniff 20 points at all.
A lot of points, man. Aaron, that game's 9 scares the holy bejesus out of me, man. Andy Dalton, I would love to see him do good only because the negative press that he's getting. The guy bailed out Dallas when they needed somebody last year, but I just don't see it, man. Just don't see it.
Oh, Lord. What is he doing? He's
biggest
plotting.
Spread of the week here, boys. Biggest spread of the week.
Yeah.
9 points. I know it's scary as hell.
San Francisco and Detroit has also moved up to this, recently. But biggest spread of the week, 71% of the action coming in on the Rams.
Wow.
Andy Dalton with the backdoor cover, baby. Rams win by 6. Andy Dalton gets me a backdoor cover. I'm taking the Bears +9.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, I like the over. 46.5 to me seems a little low. Because here's why I say that. I think the Rams are going to use the momentum, jump out to a big lead on Sunday night, and the Bears are going to try to play catch up. I think that could be a 34-24 game. I really do. But I think the Rams are going to cover. Last game of the first week is a Monday night game. Aaron, I'm going to let you take this one first. I'm not going to give my pick. We've got a new running back again for the Ravens, Latavius Murray. Ravens are a 4-point favorite on the road in Vegas in your neck of the woods. It's going to be electric there. It's going to be a lot of fun to be in Las Vegas Monday night, man. I would love to be there. Over-under's 50. I'll let you bet since it's kind of quasi your home game this weekend.
Yeah, fair enough. I know that everything's been the vibe here in Vegas is just excitement because it's, we finally got an NFL team and we had to wait an entire year and watch them play outside the building. So actually, it's crazy to think this with the big hullabaloo here is actually the ticket prices are dropping dramatically because of the new vaccination rules at Allegiant Stadium. So I actually have been keeping an eye on that. I may go. I have to. I have to keep an eye on ticket prices. Just to be in the building would be pretty awesome. But let's get back on the field here. Now stay with me here. But it's possible that losing J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill, and Gus Edwards in your back actually didn't miss a beat. I love Latavius Murray. If Le'Veon Bell can be a shell of anything productive, even if as a third down running back, and we have Tyson Williams, who I actually drafted in a few leagues, just seeing what was going to happen with all this J.K. Dobbins stuff. There's a chance, and along with RB1 Lamar Jackson, there is a chance here that they are just as good, if not better, in the backfield than they were before Dobbins went down with an injury here. That being said, I love Lamar Jackson. I think this is his time to shine. I had Ravens as my Super Bowl prediction. Even I'm going to stick with it, even despite the backfield being in shambles here. I think we look at Lamar Jackson taking another step to become a productive passer. But let's keep it on this game right here. I am going to take the over 50 in this spot. I think we get two teams. Derek Carr is a capable quarterback of getting the ball in the end zone. It's going to be the Darren Waller show for Oakland, or excuse me, not Oakland. I just would predict that's going to take some time. It's going to be the Darren Waller show for Las Vegas. Yeah, the Vegas Raiders here. I think we get fireworks to open up Allegiant Stadium. I think we're getting something along the lines of like 31-27. I'm going to say the Ravens win this one, and in typical Raider fashion, blowing the biggest game of the season, opening night at Allegiant Stadium for fans.
Mike, give me your thoughts, man. I know I could tell you're am I getting the vibe right in the sunshine that you're leaning more towards the Raiders?
You know, all week long I was on the Ravens until I got tired of their injuries, and I'm like, something doesn't seem right. I love Lamar Jackson. He will take another step passing. I believe the Raiders +4 here. Ravens might still win, but Raiders might even have a chance to upset them. But I will pick the Ravens to win, but Raiders +4. And Aaron convinced me. I'll go over 50.
Well, John Gruden to me is overrated.
I agree.
He's won 43% of his games since that Super Bowl season with Tony Dungy's players. He came in with a lot of pomp, a lot of circumstance, hard knocks, the whole bit. You know, I loved him on Monday Night Football for the entertainment factor, but when the rubber hits the road, he hasn't proven anything to me. He's, and John Harbaugh to me is a much better coach. He's more he's lasted a lot longer. I love Lamar Jackson. I've always liked him. I think I love Aaron's point about him taking that next step to becoming an elite quarterback if he already isn't considered one. He's playing for a contract, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And he's got these doubters that say he can't throw. He's more of a option running type of quarterback. He's not a passing quarterback, which I don't believe that for a second. That being said, I'm going with the Ravens. Fellas, I'm along with Aaron. I'm going with you guys. It's going to be a higher scoring game than people think. I'm going with the Ravens 34-27. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch on Monday night if I can stay up to watch it. With that 4 o'clock wake-up call that I have in the morning, it's always going to be tough. I may have to take a nap. Fellas, we got about 8 minutes left of the show. This has been a lot of fun. Really looking forward to doing this regularly with you guys on a weekly basis. We got to do our locks of the week. We got to put each of us down each week for a lock, stock, barrel. Mike, we kind of already heard Aaron's, but we'll give him his chance to reiterate it. Mike, give me your lock of the week.
This one's tough. This one is very tough. But I do believe the lock of the week, the undoubted pick for me, is under 43.5 for the Dolphins and the Patriots.
Okay. I'm writing this down now. Aaron, you kind of hinted towards your lock of the week a little while ago. Give it to me straight again, big fella. Let's see if the boss likes this one.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not going to love it. I may have to step into his office on Monday morning here, especially if this lock does come through. I think Kansas City comes out and proves once again why they are the team to beat this year in the NFL. I think they cover 5.5 very easily. And just to give you another one here, I think backup lock of the week over 44.5, over 45, whichever way you can get it, in the Jets in Carolina.
My lock of the week, I'm going back to the state of Florida. I'm going to Jacksonville. You know, it pains me. I thought about this last night after we talked a little bit. And I was listening to a couple other prognosticators on my way to the high school game that I covered last night. The Packers, to me, only being a 3.5-point favorite, only laying 3.5 to me is crazy. The weapons right now to me are they've got. I think they're much better than the Saints, and I disagree with Aaron. I think that I'm not a big fan of New Orleans' defense. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to play with that chip on his shoulder. I'm taking the Packers, laying the 3.5 as my lock, stock, barrel lock of the week. Going with the Pack minus 3.5.
Nice.
I want to mention that the janitor has told me, aka the CEO of this network, that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, this will replay. And also after the show, Cows and Quacks for all your college football talk.
All right, we've got a few minutes left to go. Then we'll wrap it up. Aaron, I got a question for you. I want to get a gambling tip. Just with the opening game of the year, there's a lot of unknowns. In your opinion, what would be the safest thing maybe for a novice? I still consider myself a novice at betting games. If I were to look for something that there's no such thing as a sure thing, but what would be the safest bet to make opening week of football, either college or pro?
So for me, week one, like we talked about on Thursday's show, and why Mike was just shocked that I was, as a Bucs fan, I was all over Dallas on Thursday night. What I look for the most is consistency in the offseason and lack of turmoil. You have teams like a lot of people aren't high on the Cardinals. No real major changes here. They added arguably a better running back in James Conner than Kenyon Drake. I look at teams that didn't have a lot of issues, like the Vikings. A lot of people like the Vikings this year. We had issues. We have injuries. Irv Smith is out now for the season. We have no tight end, which is what Kirk Cousins loved. His little safety valve there. I look for a team in week one that didn't have a lot of turmoil, wasn't in the news a lot, didn't have a lot of issues, and didn't turn their team over that much. So you look at teams like Buffalo. You look at teams, like Arizona we talked about. You look at a team like, help me out here, guys. Who was not a lot?
Baltimore?
Baltimore's got a little bit of a turmoil issue in the running back, in the backfield. But you look at teams like, even though I'm against them, you look at teams like Seattle. Not a lot of, press, right. Not a lot of bad press, not a lot of things going on. So that's what I look for in week one of the NFL, because at the same time, the NFL is already so hard to cap. It's the hardest by far, in my opinion. In terms of college, that's a tough one. It's finding those games where you can find a team like Louisiana Tech against Mississippi State. You can find a spot where you can maybe get a huge value line dog, and you just push and pray at that point.
Well, guys, we got to leave it there. We're up against it. This hour has flown by. It's been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yes, it has.
And I look forward to hanging out with you guys again next week and giving our expertise, if you will, with our football picks. Again, check out BetUS at 12ouncesportsradio.com/BetUS. That's going to do it, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. And again, as Mike said, we'll be on again with a replay tomorrow at 11 a.m. For Aaron Crouch and Mike Carvelis, this is Lou Gamlin saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Good morning, everybody. Have a great weekend and enjoy some football, everybody.
Adios.